good day and welcome to Belinda's Kitchen, Bee's Kitchen, Thermomix. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will be showcasing a wonderful recipe that is very simple and obviously can be enjoyed now that it is comfort food time, but it doesn't have to be. It can be any time that you want to have a meal that is ready in a flash. I haven't tried this recipe before, and I will be adjusting it slightly so that it can cater for my vegan needs as well as my meat eater needs in my family. So I will run you through what I am going to be doing today. So the recipe is basically pea and ham risotto, but it has a fancy name. It is Petits Pois and Pancetta Risotto. So I have swapped out, and instead of using the pancetta, just used some bacon, back bacon, and fried that up. But I'll run through the recipe with you and explain it in a little bit more depth. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually grate our Parmesan cheese. It calls for 80 grams worth, so I've just gone ahead and cubed a couple of those and pop that in. Now, in order for this to be a vegan recipe for me, I'm not going to be having this cheese, so I will be having some nutritional yeast instead sprinkled over the risotto at the end, because that is when you serve the cheese with the risotto. So let's process this. It takes 5 seconds on speed number 8. And then what we will do is transfer that and set that aside in a bowl so that we can continue with the recipe. So let me just show you. In a couple of seconds you have some grated cheese, which I love. It means that you can purchase your own block cheeses and be able to grate them in a couple of seconds. So that is a wonderful thing that the Thermomix can do for you. Save you some time. Alright, so the next part of our recipe is to actually make sure that, sorry about that, I have a crazy dog. She does that when she hears somebody by the front door or in the neighborhood. So, alright, 40 grams of shallots is what it calls for. But I'm just going to be using some brown onion, and it says 40 grams. But I don't like having half an onion left over in my fridge. So I basically will chop up whatever I have and just use that. Alright, so that's a little tip for you guys as well if you don't like half an onion hanging around in your fridge. Alright, then what we'll do is add in 50 grams of olive oil, or any oil of your choice. If you want to go cut back on the oil amount, you absolutely can. It was probably half would be good, because what we're going to be doing is now blitzing this for 5 seconds on speed number 5. And then what we will do is add in 100 grams, it says, of frozen Petits Pois. So it's basically just your frozen peas that we're going to be using. Mine has not defrosted well. I literally pulled it out about 10 minutes ago, so weigh in 100 grams worth. And it's okay, I might actually just land up cooking it a little bit longer if I find that it is obviously not cooked properly, but it should be fine according to the cook time. So what we want to do, I need to put the lid on, because you'll notice that the next stage it's asking for is to turbo this twice. It says turn your speed selector 2 times, and it has 1 second on that left hand side for your time. So let's do this once. So chopping that up, we're going to do that once more. So it's basically just chopped up your peas that are inside there, and the next part of this is to make sure that we scrape that back down towards where your blades are. So those peas need to go back to the bottom. So I'm going to show you, this is what it looks like. So those are the peas. I'm just going to scrape that down, put that down, and then the next part is to put that back on your lid and cook that for 3 minutes on 100 degrees Celsius, and that's speed number 2. So that's the first part of the recipe, that is the risotto. We've got the cheese that's grated. I have gone ahead, you will notice in the recipe a little bit further along, it asks to actually cut up the pancetta in 1 centimeter pieces and then fry that in some oil until you get some cubes that are crispy. So I've gone ahead and done that and put this in my server so it's ready for when it's time to serve. So you can do that step in the part where you cook the rice. So just so that you know that I've gone ahead and done that because I'm obviously showing you this recipe online. But there was something else that I did want to discuss with you when it comes to you making risottos. I do have a number of questions from customers asking me what type of rice to use, whether they can use their basmati rice or long grain rice. The suggested rice to use is arborio rice. It is a short grain rice, and the reason you want to actually utilize that instead of basmati, jasmine, long grain, anything like that, is because it will, the way that it cooks, it will absorb that moisture or the liquid that you are putting into your recipe, and it becomes not gelatinous, but it gives a wonderful creaminess. But if you try, and I know I have tried it once, and this is the reason why I strongly recommend that you use arborio rice as the correct rice to use, because if you try the other ones, you will not get the same creaminess that this rice will emit when it is absorbing that stock, veggie stock, the wine that you're using. Do yourself a favor, it will not give you the end results that you would love to have when you have a risotto. So arborio rice is absolutely the way to go, and it is actually not too expensive. So do yourself a favor and keep this in your pantry, because risottos are so simple and quick to do. You can have a meal, for example this one, on your table in 30 minutes. Now I don't know about you, but there are evenings where I really do not feel like cooking, and risotto is usually my go-to recipe that I will dig out on my Cookidoo account if I haven't been organized for the week, and I will just pull up a risotto and cook that. So if anything, please do yourself a favor, get a couple of bags of arborio rice that is stocked up in your pantry and is there as a backup. Alright, now the next part of this recipe is pouring in 100 grams worth of dry white wine, and I don't use alcohol, so I'm just going to pop in some water. So substitute, and then we're going to pour in your risotto rice, your arborio rice. So 200 grams worth of your rice. Don't rinse your rice. This is the magic of it, where the gluten will come into play, so don't rinse your rice. Alright, then pop your lid on. Now this will just be stirred around for 2 minutes. That's 100 degrees, and you'll notice that you will see the reverse sign on and the picture of the little spoon. So that's basically meaning it's agitating it. Now, if that was wine in there, what that will do is it will evaporate the alcohol off and definitely give you fantastic flavor. So that's what you do, coating your rice, and obviously we have the peas and the onions in there with the olive oil as well. So just to let you know, while this is cooking, there's still 1.5 minutes. I'm going to let you know, as of today's date when this is being recorded, there is a Click Crazy Mayhem sale that's happening in the mix shop. So if you're interested in grabbing yourself a bargain 20% discount off of the normal rate that you would pay in the mix shop, just do yourself a favor and log on to thermomix.com.au and have a look under the tab that says shop. And you will notice there are some exclusions, and obviously T's and C's apply. But please do yourself a favor and have a look what is available at the mix shop. Many items that will actually help you in the kitchen and complement your Thermomix, and help you make some delicious options, perhaps that you've never tried before. So do yourself a favor and head on over there and look at what is available. And please don't forget, you're welcome to add me as your consultant at the end where the checkout section is. It would be a privilege to be of service to you, and a small commission comes to me at no expense to yourself. It's just how the systems work with Thermomix in Australia. So please allocate me. I'm B. Olsen, and you won't see Thermi Tucker there, but you will see my name. If you're not sure where I'm located, if you just type in Olsen, and you will notice there's one Olsen in Mansfield, Queensland. So just have a look for me there. All right. Now, the next ingredient we're going to add in is 450 grams worth of vegetable stock. So, or otherwise chicken stock, whatever your preference is. But because this is obviously going to be a vegan version plus the meat on top, I want to make sure that I can have this as well. So I'm just adding in water for today. I have finished my vegetable stock paste. I'm so sad. I finished it yesterday. And I didn't have an opportunity to actually go and make some more today. So what I'm actually going to do then is just add in some salt as a substitute. So I will put in a large teaspoon of salt, and I will also add in a bit of flavoring. In this specific instance, I'm going to use some oregano, so a heaped teaspoon. Just pop that in. And then this will be the long cook time. So it says 7 minutes on 100 degrees Celsius and the stir function on reverse. So what I'll do is I'll explain the rest of the recipe so that you know what you need to do. The next step is to add in 100 grams of some I nearly said free, frozen Petits Pois, or your peas. It mustn't actually be frozen, it should be defrosted, but again, I cheated and just pulled mine out of the freezer, as I'm sure a lot of you will do when you get back home from work and you don't have that time to defrost it. So 100 grams, and then put that in and cook that for another 4 minutes on 100 degrees Celsius. Now, as I say, if you find that it's not hot enough or the rice is not done correctly to your bite, please make sure you just add a little bit of extra time until you're happy with those results. Because what you need to then do is the step where you are cooking the bacon or the pancetta, drain off the excess oil, and then will be the other part of the finishing off for a risotto. So you can either add in 30 grams worth of single cream, or otherwise 30 grams worth of butter. So in my instance, for my portion, I will use some lovely extra virgin olive oil, and for my family, I will put in the butter for them. And then also what you're going to do is then put on the grated Parmesan cheese, which we had prepared earlier in, and for myself, I will be using the nutritional yeast. So that is how you can serve up yourself a lovely meal. By the way, it does say if you want, you can add on a couple of twists of some freshly ground black pepper. So do yourself a favor and try this recipe. It is so simple and not complicated. There's not too many steps. There's actually 32 steps, it says in there, and that last one is serve it. So please do yourself a favor, give it this one a go. Let me know if you have actually tried this recipe. Like I say, it's pea and ham risotto. And if you love pea and ham soup, this most probably will be up there with them, and you will totally enjoy it. So I hope you have gleaned some hints and tips from today. If you have any questions about this recipe or another recipe on Cookidoo or anything about your Thermomix, please feel free. You're welcome to message me, and I'm more than happy to help you. We'll see you again on Thursday for another session at my kitchen. I'm B from Thermi Tucker, and I hope you will have a good one. Take care.